Olesya Vartanyan is a senior analyst for the South Caucasus region for the International Crisis Group. She joins me now live from Tbilisi, Georgia. Olesya, thanks for taking the time to speak to us. Now, your work focuses on breakaway regions like Nagorno-Karabakh. This is the second time the French Foreign Affairs Minister is visiting the region. What kind of support from France will she be bringing, do you think, to help the situation?
Well, French minister, she is coming from Kiev, she visited Ukraine, and then she's coming to Armenia that has just experienced with mass inflow of the people from Nagorno-Karabakh. So we probably should expect her to raise some concerns about Russia's failure to protect with people in Azerbaijan. It's a peacekeeping mission that was deployed there, was standing by and watching how the attack was taking place and was not really helping the people who were trying to flee the region. There will be probably more and more questions and statements made about Russia's failure in Nagorno-Karabakh that led to this catastrophic situation that your reporters saw on the ground as well.
So as you mentioned, the French foreign minister was in Ukraine just before this visit. Russia has traditionally been an ally of Armenia. How worried now do you think France is about Russia's influence in the region?
You know, there will be the meeting taking place between the Armenian and Azerbaijani leaders at the upcoming EU summit. And the French president, will be one of those who will be mediating, who will be present at that meeting. France is the one that has been traditionally very much involved in the topic. And probably we should expect France to continue raising the issues about the longer term stability of the whole South Caucasus, but particularly about Armenia that feels so much vulnerable and expects new attacks and new escalation at its own territory.
Yes, Catherine Colonna coming right before that meeting of European leaders that's going to be taking place soon in Spain about Nagorno-Karabakh. What do you think needs to come out of that meeting?
Well, we definitely need to see the continuation of the talks. There should be some commitment from the Azerbaijani side that Azerbaijan will agree to continue the peace talks with Armenia on good terms and also finding some solution to the standing problems. There will be also a need to hear about what will be happening to these people who came to Armenia but who do reserve the right to return and also who believe that Nagorno-Karabakh is their homeland. So there definitely need to hear, first of all, some promise about the continuation of the talks and the peace process, but also some promise for stability here in the region on the ground.
In the meantime, of course, almost all of these residents of Nagorno-Karabakh, we're talking over 100,000 people, have fled the region. What more do you know about their situation now in Armenia?
They're trying to settle. There are many people who are trying to help them. It will be a very difficult process, I should say. Although with our ethnic Armenians coming to Armenia, they are very different. They have their own tradition, their own language. It will be very long and difficult process to integrate them. Some of the countries, including France, have already donated the funds. There will be a need for more, and also precise scrutiny of how this integration process will be taking place. But what's really very important is to keep the hope for these people that one day can go back home to Nagorno-Karabakh.
Well, Olesya, you've been studying this region for a very long time. This surprise takeover came after decades of separatist struggle. Do you really think there is a chance Nagorno-Karabakh will belong to the ethnic Armenians who left it once again?
You know, this is not the issue of legalistic terms. With people, they believe that this is where they belong and this is where they have been living. They have been living there for 3 decades since the beginning of this conflict, and there was no international presence for a very long time. They still continued living there. There are some other places all around the world like this, but it's really very unfortunate that in Nagorno-Karabakh, there was no chance to keep with people on the ground and also to prevent with military operation that we saw just days ago. It's a failure that many, in fact, predicted and then saw coming. And it's really very sad to see that there was no possibility to prevent it from happening.
The situation is relatively calm at the moment, but it could easily turn into a new escalation. Just a quick word on the Armenian army. Do you think that it's prepared to fight back?
It's, right now, all the eyes are, of course, at the Armenian-Azerbaijani border, not Nagorno-Karabakh conflict zone itself. Again, people left Nagorno-Karabakh. There is no one who will be fighting Azerbaijani forces there. There are the problems at the Armenian-Azerbaijani border, which stayed the deadly area since the 2020 war for the last 3 years. With is actually the area where we have seen most of the casualties. In fact, French minister, she visited that area just 5 months ago when she was in the region last time, exactly because everyone understood that this is where Armenia is particularly vulnerable. This is where this country will not be able to defend itself. And this is probably where Azerbaijan could take over more territory. We saw that it took Azerbaijani forces just several hours to take strategic control over Nagorno-Karabakh. It will be similar for Armenia if a new escalation is to start.
All right, Olesya, thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us. Olesya Vartanyan speaking to me there from Tbilisi in Georgia.